Jordan is a child. Briana seems so desperate, but I am so happy they have finally put an end to this joke of a relationship and will remain friends. But let's get into it. Okay, as we get into this episode, Gerald and Jordan is having a quick conversation about the legacy event that went on the night before. And then they transition to Gerald talking about Cheryl and how wonderful she is and how she's his best friend and his girlfriend all wrapped in one. And I love hearing him say that because I get that energy from their relationship every time I see them together on screen. Now, granted, I still feel some type of way that Gerald has the worst excuse on not taking the next step with her as far as them moving in together, because he feels like he will mess things up and he's basically sucking himself out about it. But I mean, hey, to each his own. He's young, so I get it. But eventually, he's going to have to grow up. So after Gerald expressed why he is dodging the whole moving in situation with Cheryl, Jordan decided to express how, in his own way, he deflects and avoids certain situations too, i.e. what he has going on with Briana, and how he doesn't want to have an open and honest conversation letting her know he doesn't want to be with her like a little ass boy, because another one of his excuses is he doesn't like to hurt people's feelings. But please, Jordan, I don't want to hear that BS. You're supposed to be so bossed up and so player, but you don't want to have a grown-up conversation with people because you don't want to hurt their feelings? It's just so crazy he's saying that because clearly everyone else wants to have the conversation but him. So maybe it is his feelings he doesn't want hurt and not so much theirs. And I don't know if he was trying to make himself, Gerald, or us feel bad, because not only did he start talking about how he doesn't have a good relationship with his father, and he saw, his mom go through like a little terrible divorce, but he started crying too, saying how he doesn't want to open up and be left hot and dry. And although I can respect him being vulnerable and emotional to his friend, since we don't get much of that from guys, them tears ain't do nothing for me, because I have no sympathy for a man boy that pride himself in being a boss yet can't communicate. And I may sound heartless right now, but it's not making sense to me. He has too many excuses when all he has to do is man up and not assume what the outcome will be when he have a conversation with someone who he led on. Because at the end of the day, a person can only learn and grow from a relationship, whether it lasts or it's completely over. But avoiding it entirely and confusing it with confrontation will have Jordan around here running around LA crying all these sad tears. But I mean, at least he knows he is a self-sabotager, so he got one step down, but he has many more to go. So moving on from the conversation with Gerald and Jordan, we get into some double dating action with Amanda and her boyfriend Rob, along with Ty and her boyfriend Jalen. And on their date, Amanda tells the group that she closed on a property that she was working on buying, and this is a new venture of hers where she is buying the block. And this is a saying that a lot of black people use as a motivation to our culture and the black community to keep pouring in and contributing to everything that is ours. So I love that for Amanda, okay? Because that is something huge to do, especially at her age. So to celebrate, she is having a pre-housewarming party at the property later on in the episode. So let's move on to another conversation they're having together, which was the back and forth of Ty telling Bree what Jalen said that Jordan said about her when all the guys was at the gym. Now, all of that sounds crazy, but that is exactly what it is. He said, she said, this person said, that person said, back and forth, that is causing minor issues in their friend group. But because Ty's boyfriend feels like most of the drama is from some pillow talking he did with Ty, he feels like he needs to have a conversation with Jordan to clear some things up, which I can respect. And Jordan was already in his feelings about it, so I'm glad Jalen wasn't going to let it linger on and, just put it all to rest. But my thing is, the conversation was between Ty and Jalen. So Ty didn't need to go back and tell Briana what was being said from Jalen pillow talking situation with her. Because that's exactly what it was. A boyfriend having a conversation with his girlfriend. So what Ty could have done was tell Bree to not put all her eggs in one basket as far as things go with Jordan, because he is busy and focused on his business. Whatever that means. I just feel like saying something like that would have seemed more understanding and real coming from a close friend, and not as harsh as Ty made it seem coming from Jalen when she really didn't have all the context of how the conversation went down amongst the guys in the group. Granted, I still do think that Jordan was basically saying he don't want to be with Briana because she doesn't have anything going for herself. He just didn't say it in that way or as harsh as Ty said it to Briana. So now, Jalen feels like he shouldn't have said anything to Tyler because his words has been misinterpreted. But honestly, I don't think there was anything wrong with him telling Ty, even though it was a fine line with him doing so since Ty is friends with both Briana and Jordan. But it seems that she is closer to Briana, of course. So I get why Ty felt obligated to tell Briana what was being said. But it's like, Ty, girl, the rules of pillow talking with your man is to keep it in the bed and not let it bleed over, boo. Now the problems that you have created, running your mouth, is coming back to your relationship and causing little communications and damn near trust issues with your man. And who wants to deal with that? Girl, Child. Maybe you should have kept it on a hush with this one, Ty. But this situation is so childish that they all will eventually get over it. But let's move on from that situation for now because it is so not over. And I want it to be. So we going to the girls having another one of their all girls get together. And they are talking about the celebration of Ty's birthday trip in Mexico. And y'all, I can't wait to talk about that because baby, the girls and the guys were really giving black luxury. Okay. But along with Ty's birthday celebration, they all talked about how Ty and her boyfriend, Amanda and her boyfriend, along with Cheryl and Gerald, are all going on a triple sunset dinner together for Valentine's Day. But Bree can't come because she don't got no man. So Miss Bree said she's about to be going on a few dates since they are all leaving her out. Which we did get some insight on. And baby, the sweet life turned into Bree's dating life real quick. Go ahead, Bree girl. Do you live your life? Okay. Speaking of doing you and living your life, y'all guess who is finally manning up, or should I say grown up? Gerald. Now for a while, Gerald had been battling himself with the idea of moving in with Cheryl since they had been together for 8 years. And she is ready for the big move. She was just waiting for him. And he had finally decided to do so. But before letting Cheryl know, he had a conversation with his dad to see how he felt about it. And dad was keeping it real with him and did a little laughing at him too. Only because he was saying that Gerald wasn't paying rent at home, so how he expected to go live with someone else and split rent. That is going to be a big change for him, which it is. But at some point, he got to get out y'all house and start figuring life out without y'all. But it's like, Gerald is only like 25. Like, he recently, like, you know, when you watch shows, you follow people, and he just turned 26, like, a few weeks ago. Like, he just turned 26, so he was young when this was filmed. So I get where they're coming from. But it's just his experience is going to be with someone he's in a relationship with. Boo-boo, shoot. If I was staying at my parents' house, I'd be happy as hell not paying rent. And I'd be holding on trying to branch off on my own too. So I get Gerald. But at some point, you got to get up and go on. Like, you got to. And that's how you'll grow into a newer and better person. Or, you know, man. But Pops was telling him he has done all that he can do for Gerald. And if that's what he wants to do, then he can go ahead and do it. And Pops started crying. And I just think the emotions of the conversation created them tears. Because I don't think that Pops knew or even thought he was going to cry. He even told Gerald to tell the production team to cut them out. Cut that scene out. And it was just so wholesome. Like, it really was. Can I just say all the parents we have seen so far have been dropping gems and showing all type of emotional and physical support to their kids. And I just love that so much. Like, come on, functional black families. But anyways, after the conversation with his dad, he felt more free and comfortable enough to let Cheryl know he was ready to move in with her. And child, this boy did it in the most randomest way and at the most randomness time, randomness, whatever. He decided to let Cheryl know he was ready to move in together at the triple date he was having with the other couples. And it's like, Gerald, this wasn't even a time. But I mean, I guess you know now. So I'm excited for them in this new journey they're about to be on together because I am so rooting for their relationship. They are just so cute together, and because they live together, I hope we see more of them on this show. Continuing on this episode, We get into another event the group is attending, and this time it isn't something Ty planned. This is something Amanda has planned at the property she just brought. And basically, it's a quick housewarming party so everyone can celebrate this purchase she just made. So, of course, the whole gang is there, talking, mingling, and having a good time. And while things were just cool and chilled, Jalen pulled Jordan to the side to have a conversation and clear the air on his name being in a drama with Jordan and Briana. And before he can really get into what he was going to say, Jordan had already told him that everything was cool with them because he knew everything got lost in translation, yada, 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 yada. But y'all see how guys do, right? Now, Jalen basically started the entire effect of Bree being mad at Jordan, even though that wasn't his intentions. But Jordan was able to have that conversation with him to make sure everything was cool and squashed. Yet, Jordan was doing his damnedest to avoid Briana with having damn near the same conversation. Like, what? But once he realized, well, you know, talking to everyone else, he's talking to everyone else, but not Bree. I think it's time for him. You know, he figuring out it's time for him to have that conversation with her. So, you know, they decided to meet up. Finally, like, God, thank you. Oh, because one thing about it, Bree was not shutting up about it. She really wasn't. Like, my girl was going on and on and on, okay? But before we get into his conversation with Bree, y'all know I can't go a week without calling Jordan corny or cheesy. And this time he really proved why. And it's because after him and Jalen had a good moment squashing their situation, he decided to say something so lame like, you know, we green, we like mint green, like the green on the wall. Something real corny and cheesy and Jordan like. And it's like, why did you even say that? Just ruining the whole moment being corny. And it don't even make sense. Like, what did that even mean? I just think that Jordan felt really uncomfortable or nervous in the conversation with Jalen that he had to say the most random thing, but whatever, Jordan. But let's finish this recap off with the anticipated one-on-one talk with Bree and Jordan. And baby, it was clear as day what Bree's intentions were. And that was to make Jordan feel like she is about to boss up on him. Like, girl, sit down. You are not that convincing at all. But she also wanted him to own up to what he said about her. But Jordan is naturally a chilled, calm person and corny. Side note. So he was just letting her ramble on and on and on and on. Now, what I can say is most of the things Bree was complaining about to him was completely true. So he told her that she knows him better than mostly everyone else. So she shouldn't have believed the he said, she said mess. And she told him, quote unquote, Jordan, you are so inconsistent with me. It's hard for me to know what to believe and what not to believe. She also brought up how she tried to clear everything up at Ty's legacy event and he straight dismissed her, which he did. So of course, anyone in Bree's place will assume everything he said was true if he was not man enough to clear his name. Like, who does that? Now, what I can say is Briana comes off doing too much with a lot of rah. So that could be a reason why someone will avoid her ass. But Jordan ended up telling her that he didn't say none of what she heard. And Briana said, well, if you would have been said that when I tried to speak with you, we could have avoided this conversation overall. And they could have been done with it. And instead of him agreeing so they can move on, he decides to bring up how she called him inconsistent and wishy-washy earlier in the conversation. But at the end of the day, I think they have been spending a lot of time together. And Brie really did like him. So if he would have said anything against the gossip, she would have believed his side. And she admits, she would have. Like a damn fool. But you know what? This talk was very much needed for the both of them. But mainly Brie. Because, she wanted closure. And she was able to express to him that he kept treating her like a backdoor or backstage bitch. Girl, okay. So she said she was done with him completely and that they both should just be friends. And of course he agreed because like I have been saying this whole time, Jordan did not like Brie like that anyways. So I truly believe he had no feelings about what Brie was saying. And if he did, it was more of the fact that he hurt her as a friend and not as a girl that, he wants to be with. So ending off the conversation, he gonna tell that girl that he thought she was going to cry. And sis said, well, I ain't crying over no niggas in 2021. And all I can say is, I know that's right, girl. Set some type of standards for yourself. Because what the hell he thought? What he thought? Crying over you? Boy, please. But Lord, I am so glad that the whole situation with them is closed, because I think it was taking up too much time from everyone else and what they had going on. Granted, it was the drama this show needed to keep us coming back for more, but hell, I feel like I got closure along with Bree, girl, child, Jesus. Oof. But with that being said, you already know what it is and how it goes down over here. Comment your thoughts below. Y'all know I love speaking with you all about this crazy show. Also, like this video, and last but certainly not least, subscribe and join the Queen, baby. Bye.